We check the mics, we good?
Yeah, y'all good?
I do these in black and white to make people focus.
Yeah, I like that.
Big Sean.
You my bro.
How
What's
you
up?
doing, man? See you in a minute.
The God, how you feel?
I'm blessed, black, and highly favored, man. You know,
Same.
I like to set an intention before I do these conversations. So my intention for this conversation is for everyone to get clarity on who you are as a man and rapper in 2024.
Oh man, I'm excited for this thing.
Word.
Yeah.
How are you, first and foremost?
I'm doing pretty well. Life has been a lot lately though, I'm not gonna lie. It's been pretty overwhelming, kind of like stressful, but definitely, like I said, I cannot complain, bro. Like when you think about the grand scheme of things, me and you and a lot of us like are on the blessed spectrum.
Absolutely.
We're on the positive side of what's going on in the world, you know, compared to like people not knowing where they're gonna sleep at, people getting bombed on, you know, losing family members, kids, you know, people getting executed, everything that's all of these tragedies, wars, conflict that's going on in the world, going on, you know, in our hometowns. Every other week I hear about like somebody getting like, oh, this person got killed or this person, you know, some. So it's just like, I always keep that in perspective. And, you know, an interesting concept that I was talking to someone the other day is I was like, man, you know, say we get this opportunity while we're in our bodies only, our souls, this is our only time for us to experience like some type of friction, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even trying to get deep, but if you think about it, when we leave our bodies in this quick blip of a life, we may not experience pain anymore.
Might be peace.
Might not be depression, anxiety. We won't be able to feel, touch, fuck, eat, sleep, tired. That may not even, none of that may be a factor. So I was talking with this doctor the other day who's very spiritual, and she was like, yeah, I mean, this may be our only time as souls to progress, right? And to evolve and to feel and to have some friction,
That's
right?
right.
So I was like, damn, if that's the case, you know, when we are feeling this uncomfortable feeling like anxiety, depression, all these things, all these ups and downs we go through, like, I wonder how much of a privilege it is even just to feel that shit.
I think that's the point, right? Just to enjoy the current moment.
Period.
Because you don't know what's next. Like, a lot of times when we say enjoy the moment, we're thinking about, you know, now, like what we're doing right now. But no, enjoy this moment of a human experience that we have.
Yeah, you know, because I feel like if you're just like comfortable, if you're good, if you're just satisfied all the time, then there's no room for growth. You know, I always feel like when you're down, when you feel off or when you feel like you're not in alignment, at least you have an opportunity to grow from that. And I feel like that's something to even be proud of, recognizing that, instead of just like complacent where you are.
You know what I love? I asked you, how are you? And you gave me an honest answer. No, but that's real because people will be like, oh, I'm good.
You know, in therapy, they taught me to not just say that.
Right.
They taught, I don't know, like they teach you to really say how you doing, you know? So, I mean, like I said, you know, I'm writing my first book. You know what that's like, writing a book.
Yep.
I'm just basically finished with it. Finishing this album still and just like, and still experiencing that feeling of fatherhood, even though my son is, you know, 1 year and 8 months, it's like, it feels new still.
Oh, we're going to get to all of that.
Yeah,
Let me ask you, who is Sean Michael Leonard Anderson in 2024?
Man, I'm somebody who, bro, I'm just trying to figure out myself, who I am sometimes. Like, I have to take time to reconnect with myself and what I like, because I got so disconnected from that. So in 2024, I'm a father. I'm a black man, a proud black man who understands that they don't understand much. And I love anime. You know, that's like one of my escapes that I get to experience is like getting into like a new anime. I'm about to dive into Evangelions. I did Naruto, Dragon Ball is like one of my favorites, Akira, Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia. Like those are the things that even just growing up, you know, and when I got into a point of like around 2019, 2020, when I hit a big wall of depression that we could talk about, it's like I lost connection with who I was. But I do know that I'm a father, anime lover, a writer, and someone who loves to think things through. And I'm just sitting in the seat watching life on the screen happen, you know?
So who is the rapper Big Sean in 2024?
The rapper Big Sean is somebody who is experimenting still. And I feel like I'm getting sharper and better as I go along. I feel like I'm mastering my voice more. I've been taking like vocal lessons. I feel like I'm mastering what I want to talk about more, and still accepting that I want to have fun sometimes too, and just like rap to just find different rhyme schemes. It ain't always got to be about something, but I also love saying what's on my heart, you know? And that's why I'm excited about this album, because I do have songs that explore like in-depth feelings or that are very focused, you know what I'm saying, and that are important. So as a rapper, I feel like I'm at a place where I'm testing my own boundaries too. I'm like exploring like, because I feel like I am an amazing lyricist, and I feel like that I haven't shown the world that fully to my capabilities because of the amount of music that I don't drop, or the amount, how time goes so fast and I don't get a chance to like catch up with it, and all of a sudden 2-3 years go by and I got hundreds of songs that I don't even know if they'll ever see the light of day. So, you know, not to be a long-winded answer, but as a rapper, like I said, I'm still figuring it out, but I'm definitely somebody who has a perspective and something to say.
You know, I asked you those two questions because I saw the clarity PSA. And you said something in it, and I'm paraphrasing. If you are feeling stuck or you feeling you're not in alignment with who you are, that can lead to anxiety and depression and all these things that can be a big waste of your time.
Period.
And it often feels like Big Sean the rapper is not in alignment with Sean Anderson the man, and Sean Anderson the man is not in alignment with Big Sean the rapper. So what are your thoughts on yourself?
That's a pretty good analysis. It's not that I'm not aligned, it's that I'm a multifaceted person. So it's kind of like the records that I do where I'm just popping shit, having fun, it's like that's a part of me, you know? And so is, you know, I know you've heard this song, but like a song I got called Break the Cycle with Charlie Wilson, and a song
Fire.
Boundaries, like that's a part of me too. And that's the beauty of that I like this album, because I split it up into 4 different dynamics. So to me, it's the most aligned that I've ever been musically. That Big Sean and Sean Anderson have been musically aligned because it's really all different aspects of myself, you know what I'm saying? So I could see, like, from a listener standpoint how they could think that, because it's like, you talking about like some shit that's like not so meaningful. Like I could just be like rapping, I don't know what's an example, like shooting my shot, I gotta get it, and shout out, I hit it, I'm fully committed. Like, hey, which even songs like that, like Bounce Back, I still kind of keep like a little bit of meaning to them still, you know what I mean? Like even the high energy songs, like a level of motivation, just because that's like rooted in me. But at the same time, I like having just fun sometimes and just talking my shit and just like freestyling and going hard as Dr. Umar on white women type shit. It just, you know, it's fun to me still. And I feel like I don't ever want to lose that aspect of having fun with it, you know?
I want to stay on the clarity PSA.
Yeah.
I feel like that was very slept on, right? In the Clarity PSA, you also say we're all probably dealing with time moving so fast and trying to keep up with ourselves. And I agree with that. But that could be even harder if we don't even know what version of ourselves we are trying to keep up with. So in 2024, can these 2 versions of yourself peacefully coexist?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And it is a conflicting thing because, well, you say 2 versions, I think there's like 10 versions of me that, you know, I kind of like always try and align with, or, you know, all of these different voices and parts of your soul. Like I said, I got like a multi-layered personality.
We all do.
Yeah, I do think, to answer your question, yes, absolutely. And it's coming more and more into alignment, you know? And I realized that, yeah, time is moving fast for all of us. So it's like, you can't be sitting here thinking that that person's always gonna be here, or this moment's always gonna be here. I remember even with Nipsey, like, luckily on my last album, I got to get a song off with him that we had started when he was alive, and then he passed away, and I still didn't finish it. But my point was, I always thought I was gonna be able to finish it.
Absolutely.
You know, when I ran into Kobe on New Year's, and he was like, man, I love your music, bro, da-da-da. Like, we got a chance to really link and talk, and he was like, I'll come through and hear your new album, which was Detroit 2 at the time. I'll come through and check it out in advance. You know, I'm like, hell yeah. But so I'm at the studio like, it's not ready yet, and then bam. You know, you just never know what family members, you know, anyone who's always gonna be there. So it's like, take advantage of your time now. And that's been my biggest battle is because when I live in the moment, the anxiety comes from me trying to live in another moment at the same time. So it's like, I realize that of course I'm overwhelmed because I'm in a moment right now. You're not even taking advantage of the full moment or appreciating it. You know what I'm saying? So I know I keep giving these long-winded answers,
This
but
is a long-form conversation. It's
all right,
fine.
cool. Yeah.
Even with the Nipsey thing, that wasn't all you though, because like Nipsey was notorious for not finishing records. Like it would take him a while to finish a record,
Yeah,
from what I heard.
that's just that's an artist thing too. You know, it's an artist thing, but and even he hit me up like, yo, come to my video shoot, his last video he shot, and he hit me up at the last minute, but I was like, damn, by the time I get there, I should have just went, bro. Like, and even last time I like saw him at a event and he was like nervous about the Grammys, and I was telling, he was like, man, you know, what if I don't win? I'm like, bro, I was like, you got next time, you know, and all this is just like, those are kind of things that I've been realizing that is always not true, you know, and that you may not always have time, so take advantage of it, you know. Writing a book is something I always wanted to do eventually, but I was like, no, I need to do it right now while I have the opportunity.
That's right.
You know?
You know, also in the Clarity video.
I really like that you fuck with the Clarity video.
No, I
It's a
do.
lot, yeah.
I do.
I've been trying, I did that with such intention for people to realize how important it is to be clear and intentional, and how much it affects your family and your crew, or like breaking a cycle, you know, or like doing all these things. And
That's why you had the circle.
yeah.
And it said like happiness,
Yeah.
clarity. What else was it?
Pressure and focus. And that I made that up. You know, I drew that and just like animated it and brought it to life because that's what my life was feeling like. Yeah.
Tyler, the Creator, says in the Clarity video, he says to you, rapping is your superpower. Putting the words together is your superpower. But then also he says it's your greatest flaw.
Right.
Did he expound on that off camera? And how did you interpret his words?
Well, I could have easily edited out that last part, but I wanted to keep it honest. I didn't want to make it look like just a highlight reel for Big Sean, right? So it's like, I interpreted it. Yeah, he did build on it, but he, you know, sometimes, I don't want to like misquote him, but I think he meant that sometimes it's not all about the fucking raps, man. You know, sometimes it's like you can like over rap something too, or like you can be so
Lyrical.
over people's heads or lyrical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when he came to the studio, he was just like, bro, you're just, you know, he was giving me so many compliments off camera, like, bro, like your lyrics, you're this, and I think he's incredible too. Obviously, like an all-around musician and rapper and lyricist and all that too.
So how did you interpret his words for you?
When he said rapping is your superpower,
It's also your greatest flaw.
I just interpret it as his opinion, really. Like, I don't think it's my greatest flaw. I think it's the reason I'm here. You know, it's the reason I've been able to live the life I live. But I understood where he was coming from, though. Like, I see what he's saying. Like, it could be interpreted a lot of ways. Like, it could be like, you're real good at rapping, but maybe the amount and high level that you rap at, maybe you could execute on other parts of your artistry as well. Like maybe it's like take some of the focus off the rapping because you're so good at it, and maybe apply it to other parts, something like that.
You know, years ago you said that making music became a burden for you. How long were you in that mental space? And do you feel like that might have hurt your career in any way?
Yeah. So since the beginning, let's go back to that real quick. I'm gonna get to that. When I was 11 years old and I rapped for my mom for the first time, right? And it was like, gangster rap was like the most popular, you know what I'm saying? 50 Cent, and both our neighbors sold drugs. Like my mom was kind of like a Motown parent. Like we would listen to like Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, Isley Brothers, you know, Marvin Gaye. And so I literally seen like the wildest shit happen around my house. You know what I'm saying? Coming home from school, the DEA coming out from behind the cars, pointing their guns at us, thinking we were our neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Like just wild ass shit. Like, so when I wanted to be a rapper at 11 years old, I didn't realize like my mom being the first person, how critical of a moment that was, me rapping for her and her not shutting it down. Her being like, oh, man, keep going. Like, oh, you're so good at it. You know what I'm saying? And I just appreciate her for that aspect of just accepting me and nurturing me and just going further into debt, paying for my studio sessions, driving me from Detroit to Chicago and back to work with producers and my whole family is a family of scholars, meaning that like they all got degrees, they all are teachers and all sorts of stuff like that. And I was the first person to say I want to do music. You know what I'm saying? It's something a little bit different. And my mom, being such a dreamer herself, she was the only one who really supported me. And I used all my college grant, like I used all the bonds that my grandma saved up for me and spent it all on this dream that I had, you know, and spent it all and more. So when we talk about from 11 years old, me treating it like it was my job, I treated it like it was my job, bro. I would like press up CDs. I shot my first album cover in Sears. And like with press up CDs, like I treated it like it was a job and just cause it was to me. And I didn't know why, but I really later found out that it was my purpose. And I didn't know what a purpose was back then for real. Like I knew the word, but I didn't know the meaning of it. But it was like, it meant so much to me. So I would do things that I hated fucking doing anyway. Like I hated battle rapping. I don't have a battle rap voice. It's like, I don't have like that Meek Mill ass, Beanie Siegel ass, motherfuckers better.
Yeah.
You know, I got like I had, especially then when I was younger, I had like a thin ass voice. So I had to make up for it by being like clever and witty and metaphorical and shit, right? And it was just way harder for me. So anyway, I did all these things I didn't want to do because I believed in this dream so much, right? So by the way, everyone's saying it's never gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Your mom wasn't saying that, though.
My mom wasn't saying that.
Yeah.
She was the one who told me. I remember one of my English teachers, not gonna put her name on blast, but someone can figure it out, who told me like, yo, like, you got good grades. Make sure you apply to college, because this music thing, like, that's not even a reliable thing. Like, you messed around, throw your whole life away doing this, right? So it's like, okay. I'm telling people like, no, I got it though. You know, I could see it. I always could see it and feel it. I knew it was gonna happen. I just didn't know how it was gonna happen. You know, and sometimes we don't have to worry about the how-tos. So I didn't forget at your question. I'm gonna get to it. So anyway, I meet Ye. I rap for him. Years go by without anything happening, but I knew it was gonna happen because I had just got into manifesting and reading all these books, and I saw it. I saw me being signed to Good Music, all this stuff. Even though he got back and was like, I'm not looking for any new artists, like I knew it was gonna happen, right? Did everything I could to make it happen and kept my relationships going. Anyway, we could talk about that more, but that was the first time I dealt with depression, and we could dive back into that. So anyway, I finally make this happen. Do the freshman cover, all this stuff, drop these mixtapes, one mixtape, another mixtape, another mixtape. I do the BT Cypher with Good Music, and I get 100,000 followers overnight, literally. Then I work on my first album, get the first album going. The first album is successful. The second album isn't as successful. But why? Because I think I need to return back to my mixtape roots. So I do a Detroit mixtape, which was fire. Then I'm doing all the Cruel Summer ideas as well, like just helping behind the scenes, like Mercy, Click, all these different ideas that I'm literally coming up with.
Plus people stole your flow.
Plus people stole my flow.
So you ain't even really get to eat off your flow.
Yeah, right? And the all me, the whole shut the fuck up, all of that, right? And I'm spreading myself thin, Paul. So it's like, then I do my album and it's like, oh, the album isn't as good as it could be, whatever. And it wasn't, because I was listening to so many people saying, you got to keep your foot on their neck. You got to keep your foot on their neck. This is an opportunity, like all this stuff, right? And they're right. But I completely lost sense of who I was at that. So
that's when it became a burden.
That's when it became a burden. Gotcha. And then I dug deep because people were counting me out, and I made Dark Sky Paradise. And to me, that was like my first time where I kind of tuned it out and just like focused on me and like what I wanted to make. And that was one of my biggest, most successful albums. And then after that, I fell back into the rhythm of everyone being like, oh shit, now you really hustle. Now you gotta stay on their neck, man. So it's like, all right, shit. So I did an EP with Janae, 2088. Then I did another album, I Decided, which was like, came right on the heels of 2088. Then I did another album with Metro Boomin, which I completely freestyled. And I was literally burnt the fuck out at that point. I literally was touring, burnt the fuck out, just tired, on Adderall at the same time. So that completely would have my brain fried. Like, I was not prescribed that shit. So my dopamine was non-existent. The dopamine that your brain naturally produces when you take synthetic drugs and anything like that, like all sorts of drugs, it just like I'm not saying I was taking all sorts of drugs, but I was taking Adderall, but I'm just letting you know all type of drugs do that. It's like it produces this artificial amount of dopamine to where you can be hyper productive, but it's not sustainable, and then you'll crash out.
Right.
And it made me like hit a wall that it was either gonna fall on me or I had to like climb over, and that's when I fell back completely from everything. And that's when it was like, it was hard for me to do a conference call. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Right? So that is when, from like 2018 to 2020, that I was just like, I was just off. I was like, had the worst anxiety about posting a picture on Instagram, bro. You know, just weird shit that you shouldn't even be thinking about so much. And I just was.
But that's what anxiety is.
Yeah.
And you probably get more anxiety because you're like, yo, I prayed for all of this. I got it, and I'm feeling like I don't appreciate it.
Well, it's confusing.
Yeah.
It's confusing because you're feeling like you don't appreciate it, and you're feeling like, why do I feel like this when I've literally exceeded my dream was to have a song on the radio and to move my mom out of the hood. So it's like everything else has been an extreme bonus, right? So it was very confusing, and then I realized that I just was so out of touch with myself that I had to reconnect with myself, and I linked with like people who helped me do that, my therapist. I linked with this lady, Marie Diamond, who really helped me like tap in spiritually with myself, and like, bro, I would go like take trips to just connect with myself and like meditate and like get spiritual and connect with God more. And like I started working out. I started just eating better, taking care of myself, and just slowly returning back to who I was, trying things that I didn't know if I liked or like. I would go to the gun range, like, oh shit, I've jumped out of a plane, you know what I'm saying? Skydiving, like I did a lot of things just reconnecting with myself, and it was very, very necessary.
I want to salute to your mom, too, because what you explained, there's a therapist named Elliot Connie. He does solution-focused therapy, and he talks about the astronaut theory. And it's like when your kid comes to you and your kid says, hey, I want to be an astronaut, you don't be like, man, you ain't never going to space. Ain't no, nobody going to space. You say, oh, okay, how are we going to do that? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how to do it. That's what she did for you.
Man, and it's just like, it makes me emotional because it's like, damn, it could have went either way, you know? And there was definitely times where I gave up faith in myself, you know. Another time, so we could go back a little bit, just to answer the question, when that burnout happened of 2019, that was my second experience with like depression. And it made sense because there were substances involved too. When I say that, like the Adderall or even alcohol, a lot of people don't realize that alcohol is a depressant.
Hell yeah.
So if you got any type of mental, if you like, you know, any anxiety, any depression, it's not an instantaneous thing. It could be weeks later that shit has an effect on you like that, you know? So anyway, we go back to when I didn't go to college, right? So let me paint that picture. I didn't go to college because I rapped for Ye in my junior year of high school, for people who don't know. And I was a telemarketer at the time. I was like cashing my check. It's like a rap fairy tale story, bro. Like I didn't cash my check, got down to the radio station that I had been doing a show there for a year and a half already called the Friday Night Cypher. The Friday Night Cypher was a show where you would battle rap people. Whoever wins the battle rap would get to rap over instrumentals on air. So I did that for a year straight. So I had all these raps, you know what I'm saying? So by the time when Ye's promoting his album Late Registration, my boy like, yo, go to the station, rap for Ye, blah, 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 right? I end up downtown. I lied and said I left my phone in the station because I was there the night before. They let me in. I ended up rapping for him, and I had the CD that I've been selling around school at the time, and I had a press kit, bro. I was like very prepared, overly prepared.
That was JLB?
No, that wasn't JLB. It was Hot 107. Back then it was 105.9. Now it's Hot 10. It's the hot station.
Okay.
I'm tripping right now. Anyway, I rap for him as we walking out the station. He's like, yo, I don't got time. He running late. He had been there for a while. I'm like, bro, last call my shit, blah, 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 your story. That's the only time I ever like cry listening to a song type shit. He's like, all right, man, you gonna you know, like you can rap while we walking out. I ended up rapping for like 10 minutes straight. Like we ended up at the entrance/exit of the station, and he's just listening to me, right? So anyway, time goes on. He, you know, eventually I go to my senior year of high school. No word from them, but I'm talking to Don C here and there, though. Don C been keeping in contact. Yo, what up, Big Sean? Yo, yo, we banging that new song you sent, you know, shout out my boy Don C. Like, I do a very good Don C impression. But, you know, Ye was blowing up at the time, so I didn't understand then, but I understand now the spotty communication, you know? So anyway, we finally get the word that they want to sign. And to make a long story short, I ended up like turning down I graduated high school with a 3.7 GPA, and I turned down all the scholarships I had to Michigan State. And my family is a U of M family, but I got accepted to Michigan State and had like a lot of scholarships, so I was gonna go to Michigan State. And all my friends go to college. I'm still at the crib where I grew up, like since I was 8 years old, in the same room, right? And at first, I'm like, oh shit, okay, he said he wanted to give me a record deal. It's happening, right? A year goes by, bro. And in that year, I have such a crazy deep depression because all my friends are hitting me up every couple weeks. Yo, what's up, man? What's up with the music shit? Like, I ain't really been hearing nothing about it. You know, I would go, my beautiful grandma would have Sunday dinner every Sunday. And she would, every Sunday, what's going on with the music, baby? Like, you know, it was hard, bro. I still feel scarred from those times. Cause
you feel like a loser.
I felt like a loser, and like the girl I was dating went to Michigan State. And I would when I met her family, she was like, yeah, he's a rapper. And they would be like, what? Like, okay. You know, they thought that she could do better. And it was like a test of my faith. And you know, when you got that faith, you got to walk on that invisible bridge of faith. You don't see it, but you just know it's there, right? So anyway, man, a year goes by and I realize, okay, I got to be productive. So all these books my mom been forcing on me, the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, Asking It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks, the 4 Agreements, the Alchemist, all of these type books.
Classics.
I'm like, let me just dive into these books out of desperation, for real. And I started meditating and I just started seeing it, bro. And then I was like, okay, I had found this list before I rapped for Ye that I wrote down because I was lightweight into it, but I just was busy. You know, I was in high school. And I saw this list where it said good music, #1, #2, Rockefeller, #3, Shady Records, #4, Grand Hustle, #5, Interscope. Like, I just had a list of like, these are the top 5 labels that I want to be signed to. And Good Music was #1. And I saw that and I was like, yo, I'm on that path. It was like one of them omens it was just one little thing I needed to realize, no, I can do this, bro. I met Ye and rap for him, you know, and he said he wanted to sign me. So I just manifested and visualized the paperwork coming in all this time. But in that time, bro, in that 1 year, I was so depressed that I just wanted to give up bad. And I...
Give up on life or just the rap?
Just on the rap. So, of course, when you depressed, you always think about killing yourself. But I wasn't being that dramatic then. But I just was like, okay, I'm done, you know? And I remember I applied for community college. And I remember my grandma was like, yeah, just apply for community college. Like, it's okay, you know. And I just remember my mom being like, you know, like, what are you doing, you know? And it was a moment, dog.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, she didn't want you to go to community college. She didn't want you to give up on your dream.
Yeah, she was just like, yo, what are you doing, you know? And,
You got any tissue?
No, it's cool, it's cool. Right. So anyway, bro, it just, when I say it could have went either way, it could have went either way, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just thankful that I had these guardian angels in my life, like my mom, just come in the form of anything, you know, a book.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's why that's important. I mean, just as parents, like, yo, when your kids come to you with a dream, with a vision, even if you can't see it, just know that's God telling something to that child. So our job is just to support that dream.
Yeah, like, so I just appreciate her being so open-minded about that, bro, and like willing to support her baby. And like, she went into debt. You know, I would see her cry over bills and stuff, and so she wouldn't ever complain about paying for something for the studio for me, though, you know, and still would cry about bills at night. So it's just, it's cool because, you know, another story is...
Was she a hip-hop fan?
That's something you gotta ask her. She didn't really play hip hop that much.
Yeah.
She was somebody who we would have it on like on the radio and stuff. But I remember when I bought the Slim Shady LP, she was like confused, like what the fuck, and she didn't even know he was from Detroit. And I remember I had her at the video shoot when I just did a song with M, and she was like, "You remember when we bought?" I was like, "Yeah, I remember." From Costco or whatever. The thing about that though that I want to say is, me and her have fell out, me and my mom, after all the stuff we've been through. And it was that time where I'm talking about where I was like just burnt out, right? And she ended up coming out to visit me because we needed to rekindle our relationship. She wasn't about to let that happen with her baby boy, you feel me? So she came out and stayed with me in October 2019, and she was like, "I'm gonna stay for the whole winter. I'll leave on your birthday in March 2020.
Wow.
So March 2020 comes around, and then COVID happens, right? So my mom was like, "I'll just stay until this is over. It's probably gonna be another month or two." Bro, she ended up staying for almost 2 more years. And me and her in my crib. So it's like,
Look at God, though.
look at God.
Yeah.
It was like, not only did we reconnect, it was like a reconnection that's gonna last for the rest of my life now. Like, we back tight, and we had not been that tight. And I don't talk to her every day or nothing like that, but me and my mom just are like, I feel like that was a blessing in disguise,
Right.
And the fact that I said like it could have gone either way, that's been like the biggest pleasure, is like having her be with me and like believe in me.
That's amazing.
And like everyone else too. I ain't gonna, like my dad, my brother, like everyone stepped up and played their part, and I appreciate that, man. So it's like when I think about my son coming to me, like I can't wait to nurture whatever he want to be. You feel me? Whether it's like an astronaut, a doctor, a scientist, or if he be like, "Yo, I want to be the best manager at McDonald's," I'm like, whatever, we gonna make you the whatever it is.
Calvin. Remember Calvin, the McDonald's commercials?
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, like whatever he want to do, like I just can't wait to support him.
We here now with the new album, Better Me Than You. What's the science in that title?
Man, Better Me Than You kind of just represents like my mentality of when you have to be someone that changes your whole environment, your whole family, breaks a cycle, changes the whole trajectory of your circle. It's like sometimes you got to deal with the extra pressure, the extra weight of it all, and the extra just bullshit, right? But it's like you really got to understand you don't got to do it, you get to do it. And it's a privilege when you can step up and you're the one that's able to handle it. You know what I'm saying? So when I hold my son and when I think about that, it's like better me than you having to deal with all of these things right now. And sometimes that's on his mama too. But when it's his time to deal with it, because he's gonna come into being a man one day that he accepts the responsibility proudly of stepping up to the plate. You know what I mean? And really highlighting you as an individual. Like, I'm a better me than you could ever be. So to me, this is like probably my truest album in the sense of just doing whatever I want to do. You know what I mean?
You started off with a record called Apologize, and you sample Ray J, the Breakfast Club moment, Ray J, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No. Yes, yeah, that moment.
And
yeah.
so you address a lot of things on that record. Someone who seemed to be stealing from you, someone who tried to fuck your girl, somebody that's supposed to be a big bro. You said you don't even want them to apologize. What's wrong with hearing I'm sorry?
Man, ain't nothing wrong with it, but an apology without a plan attached to it is an empty apology, and that ain't shit.
Yeah, they say the best apology is changed behavior.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like people apologize and do the same thing. For that song specifically, I kind of like put 5 people into one person. So it was a good writing exercise for me because I created a character for this song, and it's like 5 different people I made into one person, and then I wrote the song as if that person existed, So
Are these people gonna know who they are when they hear this record?
absolutely, all of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, all of them, for sure. But a lot of people, when they hear it, they be like, oh, it's directly at Ye. It's for sure about Kanye. And
I thought that, but then when I heard the Big Bro line, I'm
Yeah.
like, nah, because he said he was looking out for Big Bro and you had to pay Big Bro lawyer fees. That wouldn't make no sense.
that wouldn't make no sense. All right, man, you really was listening, yeah. A lot of people, when they hear it, they don't all the way. I be wondering if people have ears sometimes at work, because people just be like, even when I drop that freestyle, just having fun, people like, You dissing Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, we
I'm
gonna
like,
get to that.
Damn, nigga, like, I literally said niggas looking for engagement like they got their knee bent. I got better things to do to find someone to beef with. They like, oh, he trying to beef.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are y'all not hearing? I just
Yeah.
said I got better things to do. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I want to get to that.
All right, cool.
This is a multi-layered interview.
Yeah,
right?
so, but yeah, about that song, Apologize, that's the whole thing about it. It's about like 5 different people I manifested into one and did a writing exercise.
I was telling you, we was talking behind the scenes that I really like when you and your bag, like when you're doing stuff like Break the Cycle, like those self-reflective records, when I can tell you've been doing, your work on your healing journey and you express it in these records. And on that record, Break the Cycle, you said Lena Waithe said you was the Black Brad Pitt. And you said, even though that's flattering, you was asking her, is this what people think of me? Like I just go from one star to another star? Like, why did that bother you?
Out of constellation, or it bothered me because that's not who I am for real. I'm not just hopping. But to her it was like, yeah, nigga, you went from her to Ari's and Janae. It's like, I'm like, yeah, that's not cool. Like, that's not how I like planned it out. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? So I just was highlighting that, like, I told her, I actually saw her recently and was like, yo, I mentioned you about that situation, but it didn't sit right with me. That ain't how I'm trying to come across, You
want people to respect you for the art.
Well, of course respect me for the art, but I also don't want people to just think like those are the only type of women I'm into. One, you know what I mean? That's not how I'm trying to come across.
That's the world you in, though.
It's the world I'm in, yeah.
It's like if you work at a law firm, you probably gonna end up dating a lawyer or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it makes sense.
Yeah. It makes sense in that way, but I just didn't want it to be like, oh, I only like singers, or I only fuck with this, or there are a lot of people I've dated that people don't know about, that have nothing to do with the music industry, that have nothing to do with anything in that world, that I've kept private before. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to state that because, yeah, that's why I felt the way about it, because it's like I didn't feel that was an accurate picture of me. That's why I addressed that.
Because when I heard that line, and you brought up Kendrick, it made me think of a line Kendrick had in a record that got leaked where he said, "You're finally famous for who you date, not how you rhyme, boy."
Right.
When you heard that bar, did you get any rhymes prepared, and did it have the same reaction that you had when Lena said that to you?
All right, so yeah, okay, so those are two questions. When I first heard that, I definitely had a whole thing prepared. So let's back this up. So I did a song called No More Interviews, where I'm rapping about people rapping fast and blah, 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 and people like, oh, you talking about Kendrick? I'm like, well, I'm not talking about anyone specifically. I'm just talking my shit. At the time, there was a lot of motherfuckers rapping. I'm surprised no one thought Eminem, or I remember Logic was hot at the MGK, all these other rappers that rap fast. And I'm like, this nigga Kendrick don't even rap fast all the time. Like, it's other people who be rapping fast all the time. But I definitely was like not running from or ducking no type smoke at all. Like, so when I heard that there might be, some remnants of something, I did have something prepared, I'm not gonna lie. And then I ran into Dave Free in the elevator at WME, and I'm like, yo, was that, I forgot what,
was it the Control verse? Or?
No, this was way after. So by the way, Kendrick has been at my house. Me and him are cool, by the way.
Right.
He's invited me to his mom's house before. This was like my old house. We were cooler back then, let me say that, because I'm not going to sit here and be like, we cool. I don't talk to him. But I remember, I'm just breaking down the timeline. I remember when I Decided and Bounce Back and all this stuff, and he was dropping his album, Damn. And I can't remember what freestyle, I guess it was the Hard Part 4.
I don't remember.
5 maybe, something like that. And people were like, oh, he's talking about Big Sean in there, right? So I hit up Top Dog first. I'm like, yo, who he talking about? He's just talking to me, he's just throwing a bone out there, right?
Why you just ain't ask Kendrick? Like, why not text Kendrick and say, yo, was you talking about me in this
Because
record?
I didn't think I had his right number. I think I did hit him first, and I'm like, oh, I got Top number, because he had just had me come out at his charity event like a year ago or something in Watts. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking we like straight, you know what I'm saying? So then No, it wasn't about you. It wasn't about you. All right, cool. So the little shit I had, I just was like, let me get out of my head because I'm thinking like it might be something.
So you had a song or a verse?
I had just some ideas, you know what I'm saying? Just on some, just to be real with you. Like I had some ideas, mapped out. So then Nipsey dies. Joe Budden had created this before that, Joe Budden had made this there's a Kendrick Big Sean beef, and to the point where I tried to ignore it, but he made that narrative so fucking real that I think it really did become a thing. So Punch.
He wasn't all the way wrong though. You said there might have been something in the air.
Well, yeah, because I'm getting to the point where me and Kendrick talk.
Okay.
So I get to the point where I'm like, damn, do we got something going on? That's why I had something prepared, right? And then when I run into Dave Free, and he's like, nah, bro, it ain't nothing. Like, it's all love. He said something like that wasn't directly towards you. It was for anyone, Okay. So then Nipsey dies. And I sit on a plane next to Punch. Random as hell. We're headed to J. Cole's festival. And he's like, you ever talk to Kendrick? And I'm like, no, I never. I know it ain't shit there. But no, we never really spoke. Then around that time, like that day or maybe the day before that or the week or day within that same time period, that leaked shit happened. It was a leaked verse. And it said what you said.
Yep.
I'm like, damn, nigga, y'all motherfuckers said it wasn't shit and it was something. So you got me looking crazy.
But maybe he prepared something just like the same way you was thinking. He was like, let me get my nukes just in case too.
Right, but the thing is that song came out and he changed that bar, right? So that wasn't on the song anymore. It was a leaked verse. So I had to keep that in mind because I was pissed when I heard it. So then I'm like, okay, he changed that on his own. So he probably came to the conclusion that it was nothing. So then then me and him talk. And I got the text on my phone. And he's like, I might pull the text out and read it.
Let's hear it. Why not?
Oh, I ain't even got somebody else got my phone.
Somebody grab Sean's phone.
I essentially.
No need to misquote him.
Yeah, I ain't trying to misquote shit. Because I don't give a fuck that much to misquote a nigga.
And how long ago was this? You said right after Nip died?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can read my stuff, too.
You want me to read it?
No.
Okay,
I don't think we should read it because I think that's kind of like bitch made, but I want you to kind of see the sentiment of it. Hold on. So this is me, and then this is him. What up, champ? Yes, we're in great grievance.
That's real.
Wrongly. So, in a sense, I don't want to say it. He apologized, in a sense, for going that far, and for that shit coming out, right? Yeah. So I wanted to show you that because, in a sense, he apologized, right?
Yeah.
So if Kendrick apologized for that same leak that I heard prematurely, right, that he didn't use, it's like, then it leaks fully later, right? And people hear it, and we already discussed it. And he said, appreciate the shout out on a Nipsey song. I already addressed it on the song with Nip. Lack of communication and wrong information for people fueled by the ego is like mixing flames with diesel.
That's what he said to you
No, that's what I said on a song with Nipsey.
Oh, I know, but in the text it sounded like he kind of said the same thing.
Yeah, that's why I said it in the song. Because in that text he said, yo, my ego, da-da-da. So it's like, when that shit leaks, it's like people are like, oh, you heard what he said about you? I'm like, nigga, I'm not a clout chasing ass nigga, bro. I'm solid and I stand on mine and I'm not about to do something because everyone thinks a certain thing. Like, we already talked about it. I already got an apology for it.
And your shirt right now says, I do not care about their opinions.
Yeah,
so why would you care about the opinions of other people if you know what it is between you and Dot?
Exactly. And that's what it's been. I ain't really had too much communication with him since then. And, but I just want to I represent a lot of people from my city, from where I come from, fans of mine, who think I didn't stand on my shit. And that's not the case. And that's what I want to clarify. I wasn't being a bitch nigga or tucking my tail or nothing like that. And if it was real smoke, if it was really something to stand on, I would be full front. I would be there front and center for it. And I would be prepared. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. And people want to make something that is not. So that's something that I never really got a chance to clarify. And, to me, it's better to be about business and to be authentic. And if there's literally not a problem there, then I'm not about to feed into no narrative that isn't true, that I know isn't true. Feel me?
Or do you feel like the Drake and Kendrick situation, beef, whatever you want to call it, stepped on your return? Because you dropped Precision.
Yeah.
And then like that dropped like a week later, and it feel like it just drowned.
No, it dropped the same day.
It was the same day?
Yeah, it dropped the same
Oh, no,
day.
no, but you did drop a freestyle a week before, though. Am I tripping?
I dropped it like 2 days before.
Yeah,
a freestyle.
And it feel like it drowned. It feel like it drowned. Like that just drowned that out.
It did drown it out, bro.
Yeah.
It was like, but you got to think about it. If it's like Metro Boomin and Future, and then Kendrick addressing J. Cole and Drake on first person shooter, you're kind of involving a whole kind of like, it's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's like a whole, you know, as opposed to me, I hadn't even dropped music in years, bro, and I'm just like a return. So I understood. It was, I was surprised too. I was just like everybody else, like, oh shit, like, you know.
Aren't you glad that you and Kendrick never really got into it though? Because that could have been you, Sean.
What could have been me?
He did Drake pretty dirty.
He did.
Yeah, that could have. Would you have been ready for all of that?
I guess we'll never know. Yes, though, of course. Of course I would have been ready for it.
Well, what changes have you made to Better Me Than You since the album got leaked?
Well, luckily it wasn't the album.
Wasn't the album?
Nah, it was kind of like a couple of things from the album.
Okay.
But, you know, luckily it wasn't the album. So I think whoever did that, though, is just kind of like, it's just kind of fucked up to do. Like, I don't know why. You know, they said, oh, you was talking shit about Ye. It's like, Ye was talking shit about me, too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
we all saw Drink Champs.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Did you find out who leaked the album? And what made you have to get on Instagram Live and clear up that it wasn't Kanye?
Oh, nothing made me do that. I just was like on Instagram Live vibing, and I saw someone in the comment or some shit, and like, it just popped in my head. Like, I didn't have like a script ready for Instagram Live, but I just don't think that Ye would do some shit like that, because maybe I'm giving him too much credit. I don't know, because it's like, I know I wouldn't do no shit like that. Like, I wouldn't leak, like, I got hella Kanye songs unreleased on my hard drive. I would never, because ideas that I was working on or seeing if I could contribute to, that I would never leak, because that's just like, that's just not my character.
Have you spoken to him since then?
Since Drink Champs?
Nah, really since the album leaked, I guess.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
How is your relationship now? And can you have a relationship with a person who shitted on you the way he did on Drink Champs and he owes you $6 million? Can y'all ever have a genuine relationship?
Well, he doesn't owe me the money anymore. It got resolved. But
oh, he paid you?
Someone paid me. I guess it was him. But
word.
Yeah, but I took a little less than I just wanted to end it instead of going to court for some shit over that.
What was the haircut? It was $6 million, so what was the haircut? What was the haircut? How much did you end up getting?
Let's see. That is none of your business.
But you good though, y'all. He did pay you, basically.
Well, yeah, so the thing was, I had an issue, and I had an issue because I kept privately being like, yo, I need my money, to his lawyers, to him, not really bringing it to him so much, because I know the type of guy he is. He don't be dealing with all of the business aspect of things all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing it properly. I'm going through the proper channels, management, that like, you know what I'm saying? And then after years go by, it's not like I was super hurting for it, but at the same time, it's like, first of all, and I don't want to get it misconstrued, like, signing to Good Music was the best thing that could have happened to me in that moment in my life, period. I don't take it for granted. It was a golden opportunity signing to my favorite artist at the time and being able to sell 185 million records under Good Music. You know what I'm saying? It was a dream come true, and his only profitable artist at that. So it's like, I wore that Good Music and still do. I still fuck with the brand and what it did for me and everything. Like, and there's a part of me that will forever fuck with Ye because of that too. For signing me, you know, I'll never discount that. But at the same time, with the deal I signed, he made more money off of me, my music, than me, which is totally fine. I'm not complaining about that. It's just a fact. People be trying to take this so much as a fact. It's just a fucking fact. So when you're owed money off of a deal that you're already getting the lesser part of it, and you're hitting, I'm hitting up Def Jam because I'm auditing Def Jam. Jeff Harleston, you know Jeff Harleston.
Absolutely,
I know
my
all
guy.
these people. I'm like, yo, I need my money, bro. Like, where the fuck is my money? Because I'm auditing Def Jam. Every time I audit Def Jam, there's money sitting there. And then when I really broke it down, and they were like, oh, yo, you sold 185 million records. I'm like, wait, this don't equate, right? Where's my $6 million? $6 million. No one's getting back to me. No one's getting back to me. So then I drop a feature on Benny the Butcher's album, and I say something about it, like, niggas that's up B's that owe me M's. I'm talking about Def Jam. Mm-hmm. Later on, I realized, oh no, your money got paid a long time ago to Good Music. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Where's my money?
Right.
Oh, no, you got to hit up Ye for that. Oh shit, okay. Ye, where's my money? You know, I'm not getting a straight answer from no one. So then I'm like, bro, y'all playing with my money. This is ridiculous, dog. After all of the times where I've sat in the studio, contributed, not got any credit on shit, which is, like I said, I'm not even complaining about that. It is what it is, but the point is like, I need my money that's owed to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's all that was. I ended up settling because I didn't want to deal with it no more. I wanted to move past it because that shit is all an energy too. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and after he said what he said, and then I got back up with him after he said what he said on Drink Champs.
Oh, so y'all did connect after Drink Champs?
Yeah, and I'm just...
In person, phone?
In person.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said, you know, he said what he said. I'm not into like gossip and stuff, but he said what he said, and it made me realize that I couldn't really take all what he was saying serious on that Drink Champs.
Very performative.
Very performative, and that's how I am. That's like probably one of the reasons why, like, I feel like that's what I'm not. That's what he's good at, and I'm not so good at that. Mm-hmm. You know, because I'm like, I don't like doing things that don't feel real or like, you know, where, you know, when we were there, it was like, oh yeah, make sure they get a picture of us leaving here so they can. I'm like, what, nigga? You said some wild ass shit about me though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hate that sucker shit.
I don't like that type shit. I don't like the type of I don't know, like.
I'm the type of person, I value my relationships.
Yeah.
So if I've ever called you a friend, if I've ever called you family, mm-hmm. I really mean that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do something like that to me, mm-hmm. and I would never do that to you, mm-hmm. it's hard for me to ever look at you the same ever.
Yeah, and I think he was just pissed because he felt like I chose Drake over him. That relates back to, like, I only bring that up because he brought that up to somebody who told me something. You said Drake, I'm like, in 2015, talking about the song Blessings, where I helped Ye write his verse for the song. Mm-hmm. After he heard the song, was like, I have to be on it. Mm-hmm. And I helped him write his verse. And then I told him, you got to turn it into the mastering plant tomorrow, bro, because my album is about to come out. I wake up the next, by the way, I'm doing way too much as an artist. Like, I shouldn't even have to be worried about shit like this.
Right.
I'm checking in like an A&R would. Hey, did he send the verse to mastering? Oh, no, he still didn't. I call his engineer. Yo, did he oh, no, we still, I'm like, bro, y'all bullshit, y'all playing. If he wants to be on the song, he need to send it. And we ended up doing the video version and the radio version, but for some reason he thinks because Drake didn't want him on that song. But I was like, I'm putting Ye on this song anyway because Ye put me on. If he wants to be on the song, he's gonna be on the song. Mm-hmm. So even though I've said that to his face, he just don't hear me or some shit. So for some reason, he just think that I'm being unloyal or some shit. I really don't know. I can't speak for him. In fact, I don't like speaking for other people, but I'm just, from my perspective, it was something along those lines with that.
Managing rappers' egos is crazy.
Yeah, what do you think about all of that? Or, you know?
I think that you should have done what was best for you and your album in that moment. Mm-hmm. I think that, you know, sometimes when you deal with anxiety and you deal with bouts of depression, because I deal with the same thing, we're people pleasers. Mm-hmm. And we don't want to let people down.
Right.
But then we're the ones that constantly end up getting let down. Like, you got a verse that I want to talk about later on that says something like that. But.
Yeah, and that's true though, bro. It's like, I be giving a fuck too much about these people that don't give a fuck about me.
You. That's
they
right.
Don't give a fuck.
That's
this
right.
nigga, they don't. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for him like I said, but it's like I be trying to protect people too much. So it's like. Mm-hmm. But it's not in my character to put people's shit out there and be dirty like that. That's really not who I am. Mm-hmm. And I say that with pride, you know? I don't say that like, It's just not. That's not who I am. So
Especially if I'm spending all this time doing all this work on myself, and I can look at you and tell that you need to do a lot more work on yourself. So you have grace for that person.
yeah.
But that don't mean that you gotta continuously allow this person to shit on you.
No, period.
Yeah.
No, hell no.
Looking back on your experiences with depression and anxiety, do you believe it had a negative impact on your career? Do you believe that everything happened exactly how it was supposed to?
It gotta be how everything happened exactly how it's supposed to, because if anything would have been different, it may have not led me to the moment that I'm in now, where I got a beautiful son, I got a beautiful life, and I got a lot of experiences, and I got a lot of knowledge. And if things would have happened differently, who knows what it could have turned out as. But, I think everything happens how it's supposed to happen, for sure.
Let's talk about your son. On the new album, you got a song where you sample Get On Up. And on that record, you address your son. One of the bars that really stood out to me is, I look into my son's eyes and still see his innocence. I see my inner child in him and still the remnants. Will he lose it to the world, or is it imminent? Or will he have the confidence that me and his mom instilled in him? So it made me wonder when I heard that line. I'm like, damn, are you raising your son out of fear or love?
I'm raising him out of love 1,000%. Like, that's a good question, though, because it kind of does contemplate that. But the thing about the difference between fear is, when those questions arise, is the action you take on them, to me. So, like, me recognizing that, like, I look into my sons, I see his innocence, I see my inner child in him is still the remnants. Will he lose it to the world? Is it imminent? Or is it something that me and his mama had instilled in him? And the confidence you lose, you could build again. It's like, I kind of feel like, even though there is having a kid for me has been one of the most, like, scariest things. Most beautiful, but scariest in a way of, like, it's a new territory of new emotions that I didn't even know I could have. Like, the way that I love my son and, like, feel connected to him in all moments and consider him, and, like, it's transformed me for the better. And it's also, like, a very soft spot. It's like that. It's like, I could do without anything I can't do without him. You know what I'm saying? So I thank God every day for his, like, presence and him waking up and his health. And, like, I got these affirmations I say every day. And, like, I'm real serious about it because I really appreciate who he is and what he's here to do. I think he's here to do some great things. But I definitely am raising him out of love, And any fear, it's not really fear, but any time where there's uncertainty, I have to trust that it's all gonna work out for the best.
Because we as black men, and I always say this from the perspective of my father. Like, I know my father raised me out of more fear than love, just because he didn't want me to make the same mistakes that he made. And he was just afraid of what the world may do to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked.
I think a lot of our parents, I think a lot of us were raised out of fear, in a fear-based way. And what I mean by that is, like, even my dad, just, like, I remember one of the things he would always say is, like, man, life isn't fair. That's a belief that you're immediately passing down to your son. Like, life isn't fair. This shit's hard out here. And that's his experience, but it's like, like, you gotta work hard. That's one thing that I'm not necessarily gonna instill in my son. It's like, I've seen my dad and my mom have 2 jobs, 4 jobs between them, and they be broke as hell. And they be, like, in debt. And then I've seen billionaires who work an hour a day and got all this money, and it's not about how hard you work. That's maybe a factor of it. That may be a part of it, but it's really about how smart you work.
That's right.
And I think that I don't want to project anything onto my son. All I want to do is just support him whatever he does. But I think, like, another one was the fear of money. Like, I got that from my family growing up. Like, we didn't have a lot of money, right? So it was like, you gotta really be, conservative. And it has taught me a lot. I talk about it on Break the Cycle with Charlie Wilson on my album. But it's the fear of scarcity, not having enough, that somehow nowadays I just kind of have an agreement with God, and, like, that no matter what, I'll always be good. I always have more than enough to take care of myself and the people around me that, I choose to take care of. And I truly believe that.
How has your relationship with Janae and being a father changed the way you approach life?
It's taught me to not. It's like you have to consider more than just yourself, and you have to. You know, Janae has definitely taught me to like really make sure. She kind of is aligned with like one of those things that I'm aligned with. Is like this career, this music isn't everything. Now this is everything. You know what I'm saying? Like
Your son.
yeah, like just that more so. And that kind of goes into the concept that I was saying earlier about we get so caught up in like our careers, being successful, all these things, right? When you got to understand success is a feeling more than it is an amount, but of something. Because all that's conditional. It's really a feeling, but
it's subjective.
It's subjective, but when you look back, and you know, when I started the interview, I said, "What if our point of life was really to advance our souls for real?" And that, you know, I'm not saying a career isn't an important part of that of your legacy, but let's not neglect that part of it. And I feel like that's what having a family and raising Noah is like keeps that in perspective for me. It's like, yeah, this rap career, people can say what they say, having opinions, but you writing a book and all this stuff, but that's not what it's all about. You know what I mean? That's what it's all. That's just a part of life. And the real thing is like progressing your soul. So, you know, she definitely is someone who thinks in a similar way, you know. But having a kid definitely makes it hard in a lot of ways to just like a newborn, you know, when they're younger, it definitely takes a lot of energy, but it's rewarding though. You know, you get so much from it as well.
How important is it to have a partner that's on a healing journey like you are? Because Janae has been open about her mental health struggles as well.
Yeah, it is important to have, especially like I want to really. These questions I'm answering honestly too.
I would hope so. You lie in other interviews? You lie everywhere else?
I don't. I'm just thinking it through. That's why it's kind of like sometimes I have to like think about the
All
question
good.
a little bit. It's like it's always good to have someone that you could talk to, and I'm not gonna sit up and say like we're always on the same page. Like we have a lot of things to work out ourselves. You know. I'm sure like everyone, but it does boil down to the same. It does boil down to the same beliefs of like she definitely is someone who believes in like healing, and believes in you know, a lot of meditation, a lot of putting it into the work. You know what I'm saying? And not really so focused on like, oh, the charts or this or that. It's like that's one thing I really appreciate about her is that she puts like how she feels and where her heart is. And that's something that I have been doing and striving to do as well. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's important to have that type of, just that, a person like that you can always talk to and be aligned with, you know?
I know she's on tour, so who taking care of Noah?
Noah's been with her for like the first leg of the tour. And yeah, so she was gone for a month, but yeah, that was his first experience on the road. So,
Okay.
Yeah, he's been in, you know, they started in Detroit, like my mom and dad and brother were all spending time with him as well. So it's been cool.
You know, I had a conversation with Tank recently.
But it was very hard for me. It was very hard for me.
Having him away?
Yeah, man. That shit was tough. That shit was way tougher than I thought.
Why didn't you go out for a couple of dates on the road?
Man, because I had my own commitments that I had committed to previous. It was like, I wanted to be there for the Detroit show, but I had to perform at this, I committed to this Beverly Hills Cop thing, and then this festival in Chicago, and then these meetings and things about finishing my book and album and all sorts of stuff, and it's just like...
Life was life.
Yeah, you know, so unfortunately I couldn't just, you know, be there for that first part, but I'm definitely gonna like make some shows and be there and Yeah.
Say, I want to talk to you about just the music shit with Janae, because I had a conversation with Tink on Breakfast Club recently, and she's on tour with Janae, and she was saying for her, Janae is the blueprint for so many of the R&B, girls. I didn't know that. I knew people liked her, but I didn't know she was looked at like that. So forget that being your lady.
Yeah.
As an artist, do you see her like that?
Yeah, I said this on the Coachella stage. I feel like she was when it comes to like the newer R&B. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase that, but like the 2010s, like kind of like the
Summer Walkers and the
she's
SZAs.
she's like the prototype to me of that.
Yeah.
Of like that type of style of music, the mixtapes, and I've seen them meet Janae and say that to her. I've seen Summer Walker say that to Janae. I've seen not that specifically, but in that realm of things. But yeah, I feel like she is definitely that blueprint, and I've heard that quite a bit, and I think that's true. Yeah.
Will you two do another 2088 project?
There has been music made,
Okay.
for her, but I don't want to speak for her. You know what I'm saying? I saw in an interview she said that, the door is open there, and it is, but I'm gonna just leave that. It's definitely a possibility, and there is some music made for sure.
What's stopping y'all from getting married? Y'all already did one of those secret industry weddings.
No, there has not been a secret industry marriage. I think that it's a little personal, you know what I mean? But just like, to be real with you, just like any people who have dealt with love, we've had our ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's still finding the right navigation through it all. I don't know if to me, marriage symbolizes like the best relationship. People be like, oh, you got to get married. To me, I feel like having a relationship is first and foremost, and like marriage is a byproduct of that. And I feel like a lot of people get the idea of like, oh, you have to get married, but then it's like, to me, that's almost a fear-based way of thinking too, because then people be getting divorced. The divorce rate's so fucking high, and I am someone who, I'm not like discounting anything, and I'm not saying that we aren't gonna get married, but what I'm saying is that it's just, I would like to do a lot. I would like to, and I don't like putting our personal business out there like that either, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done, I feel like, in general.
Well, take it from somebody who's been with their woman for 26 years, right? It's always gonna be ups and downs.
Period.
The work's never gonna stop.
Yeah.
Especially raising
26
kids.
years?
Been with her 26 years. Got married in 2014.
Oh,
So
shit.
you're married for 10.
Wow.
So it's gonna always be ups and downs.
So what took you 16 years to get married?
I don't know.
Exactly. It's kind of like a hard
I really
thing
don't know. I really, truly, honestly don't know. In my mind, I felt like I wasn't where I needed to be, right? But I did know this is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. So my mentality is, hey, I already know it's gonna be. No relationship is gonna be perfect all the time. So if you're thinking that you gotta wait for this fairy tale magical awakening where everything's gonna be all good all the time, it's just like no, that's not the way life is.
No. I don't think it's that. I think that it's just seeing so many different. The thing about Janae is that we have so many relationships. It's like being peers, being in a group together, parents, romantic, all that. It's like it's a crazy connection, because no matter what, we're always going to be tied together, no matter what. So I think that doesn't discount that, like, she and me both have to be on the same page. Not to say we aren't, but I feel like I can only speak for myself, that there needs to be like more work done so we could keep going. Because there's a lot of focus on our family. There's a lot of focus on careers and everything, and that is something that I feel like has not been the main focus.
So y'all not necessarily together now, y'all just figuring it out.
Oh, now look at you, Charlamagne.
I'm just asking a question.
No, I'm not saying that either. That's, what I'm saying is that it's not perfect and that it needs to be work done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad we having this convo though, because I was having a conversation with one of my young partners, man, my man Relly, and we was talking about you, and he said he felt like you never had an identity people gravitate to. He also felt like you never had a story that people could connect with. So even when you rap your heart out, it might not necessarily work because you lack those other things.
Wow.
So when you hear that, I'm gonna ask you again, more thoughts on yourself. When you hear people.
I think that just comes from me not wanting to share my. You know how like some people are really good at like putting themselves on social media,
Yeah.
Cardi B is an example, right?
Yeah.
Or like people like
Cardi was that before music though.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that never was just natural to me, sharing my story so much. And I kind of live a life where I always went against the grain when it came to like even like from Detroit, like being from Detroit and like not rapping the way everyone else rapped, or like not rapping about even the same shit everyone rapped. My stepbrother got locked up 15 times. It's like I seen people die. I seen all sorts of shit, but it's like, and I rap about that, but I don't rap about it like I'm not a gangster rapper, period. Because that's not what I wanted to portray. That's not how I felt. Even though I saw it. Even though that may have been authentic to me, that ain't what I was trying to put out in the universe type shit. So I respect anyone's decision, but at the same time, I think that I'm honest, and I think that there's DNA in all of the music that I put out, and maybe people haven't listened to it all, but I've been honest with myself. I put my heart out in my music, and I've like kept it real, and never like fronted, never like faked it or like, period.
I told you earlier that I love when you be in your bag where you are rapping, and I can hear that you've been doing the work, like the records like Break the Cycle of Boundaries, which we're gonna get into. Like those records, I'm like, okay, that's Sean is in his bag. Like the other stuff is you just rapping because you nice.
Yeah. And like I can say that the other stuff is like I still want to do the other stuff too. I'm just having fun, like I just like feeling the energy of it, but I also, when I feel the need of like getting a message off, I attach that to it too. But sometimes I just like having fun with it, and people can take that how they want to take it. But at least I did this shit my way, man. At least I like kept it true to me, you know. So I know people always got something to say, and I welcome that. But at the same time, shit. I'm just doing my thing. Like, I don't really make music for it to be so picked apart when I'm doing the song. I don't be like, oh, they gonna pick this apart like this and that and that and that. I just be doing it. And I just be like, oh, I like it. And then it goes how it goes. But
we talked about precision earlier, and you did that record when you had food poisoning, I heard. And you said, I think where I lack most as an artist is consistency. I just haven't had the energy to compete with enemies or y'all so-called bigotry. You want to expound on that bar a little bit more?
Oh, yeah. The hunger and like for competition kind of never took the precedence over like me working on myself and saving my life, because that thing, remember I told you at that time of my life I had to like fall back and get my shit together.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I meant by that.
So the reason you didn't have the energy to compete is because you was dealing with depression, because you was dealing with anxiety.
I don't want to say depression and anxiety. I was just care more about myself in a sense than to like think about that or, but if I have to compete, bro, I'm definitely down. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm not with that, but it's never really been an honest, like, blatant challenge that I felt needed to be addressed, you know? Like,
Well,
that.
Kendrick on Control, he laid the gauntlet down for everybody on that, though.
But let's not forget who put Control there, bro. I'm the one who put it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was the one who put the whole thing together.
Did you ever think you wanted to go change your verse just to?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't, because I respected that he thought of that to name people and do all that, but let's not forget who put Control out and whose song it is. Like, I did that because I cared, that I knew that when I thought about it, when I got the verse back, I'm like, man, that was real interesting that he chose that perspective. And I wasn't about to be like, oh, you can't do that, like, on my song. I was like, shit, he either gonna get it off here or somewhere else. It was like, fuck it, you know, let's run it. But they didn't clear the song. You know what I'm saying? After it came out, and I took that bullet for the culture, it didn't get cleared.
What you mean it didn't get cleared?
Like, the reason it wasn't on my album is because they didn't clear it.
TDE didn't clear it?
Yeah, because of all the controversy and drama that it amassed, I assume, or, you know.
It was already out, though, so what's the...
That was what I'm saying. I'm like, we agreed to do the song, put it out. I'm like, put it on my album. They like, oh, no, you know, it was, you know. I never really got a full explanation of why that didn't. It just never got cleared, but it wasn't like I didn't clear it and shit. Yeah.
Does it upset you that you aren't in the Big Three combo?
I think I am in the Big Three combo.
What Big Three combo?
The Big Three, man, you funny,
You're not in
man.
the... What you mean?
Funny,
You know,
man.
the combo is Drake, Kendrick, and Cole. That's what it's always been.
And I hear my name around that a lot, so.
Outside of the Big Three, I actually think it's a Fantastic Four. Because I throw Future in there.
Okay.
But not because of lyrics, but just because of impact over the last decade plus. And then I think after that, that's when you talk about the Seans, the Wale's. That's why I go.
Well, there's only one me and there's only one Wale, so. Okay, so the Big Three combo. So what's the question?
Or do you ever be upset that you're not in that combo?
Well, shit, I hear my fucking name all the time when people talk about this Big Three stuff, and like.
Because even when you said who'd you say your bigger three? I don't have to.
So your so-called bigger three. Right?
Oh, okay, so what people think is okay. I got
Yeah. What
got
people think. Yeah, that's why I said your so-called bigger three.
Well, the general consensus big three.
But I also understand that I have been very inconsistent as an artist. My consistency is where I lack. I say that in that too. It's like I haven't put out music in 4 years, bro, essentially. You know what I mean? I haven't put a project out. So I can't expect to be in that conversation when I haven't been consistently feeding hip hop and feeding fans and feeding, you know, and that's something that as an artist, it hurts because I do need to, the people who do rock and ride for me, like I want to give them reasons to be fans, and I think that just comes with more consistency. But I think I'm at a point in my life where I can produce more, but still keep it on God's time and in my time. But, you know, I think the way my life is going, it's like, that's one of my priorities, is to like put more music out with meaning too, though, you know, with still that feeling of, okay, feeling good about it.
Let me show you how God works. Look what my next question was. Can you be upset by what you haven't gotten out of rap if you know that you haven't been as consistent as the people in the Big Three?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I'm not delusional. Like, I haven't been putting out music, so that's one of the, yeah. But I do feel like when it comes to rapping abilities that I have no limit on my rapping abilities. I feel like I can keep improving and keep getting better, and I can hang with anybody on any song.
You know,
and I've proven that.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
With all of them.
With all, 100%.
Yeah, and even like with Control, the next song we did, I made sure I had a better verse on Holy Key. And that's just, you know, that was just because I was like, wait, hold up, you know, I gotta like make sure I'm repping my shit proper right now.
Remember I told you when I started this interview, I wanted people to get clarity on who Sean is. And I think we're doing that because I want to ask you, like, that's why I keep bringing it back to your mental health journey, because how do you think your mental health journey affected your positioning in the game, whether it be how it impacted your creativity, how people perceived you, how you carried yourself? Because in this game, you still got to show up a lot of times, even when you don't want to.
Yeah, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting having to show up. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
How do you feel like your mental health journey affected your positioning in the game?
How did my mental health journey affect my positioning, in the game? I think that this game isn't about, those are two different things, right? So it's not really a supportive thing. Like, this industry in general isn't supportive of mental health in a sense. What I mean by that is things like consistency, things like staying hot, things like being, this and that necessarily don't always align with mental health, you know what I'm saying? And that word mental health got a stigma around it to me, because it's like, I don't sit here and be like, my arm health is good today. To me, it's health, right? And I feel like when you think about a lot of our industry, a lot of people high as fuck. That's how they deal with having to be so on all the time. They're high as shit.
Escapism.
That's what I was dealing with too. I had to figure out a way to get by, to make it through. So niggas be high, niggas be drunk, niggas be off lean, off pills, off all this shit, right? To be able to function in this game, because it's so exhausting and taxing. And I'm straight up here raw dogging all my emotions and shit. I'm like fighting this shit sober. It's like, are you sober, or what you do? You do anything? You smoke?
I do edibles. I do edibles. I like my tequila. Plus I experience with plant-based medicines, but for spiritual purposes. Like, I've done ayahuasca. I've done shrooms.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I want to hear about that. You ain't got to talk about it now. I've done shrooms too. I've done this shit, and I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but lately I just been keeping keeping a clear mind, especially while I was working on this book, working on it, finishing this album. I definitely there's a song on the album with me and Thundercat where I was off shrooms. We were all off shrooms making the album. Making the song Black Void. But I think that, to answer your question, I think that has nothing to do with my positioning in the game, to me. I think that those are two separate things. And I'm not going to use the excuse of mental health on why I haven't been as consistent as I could be as an artist, or as I would like to be. I think that's just how it happened.
But if you dealing with bouts of depression and you don't feel like going in the studio, you have,
that's a personal problem.
Or if you don't want to go make this appearance because you feeling away, you have that right to not do that either. But all those things do affect your career.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people take hiatuses and shit. I think some people don't, but some people do, and it's just about you being accepting where you are with it, But I think that just shows the importance of putting yourself, and to me, it's important to put myself first. So yeah, I'm probably not as big as an artist as I could be, or all these things. I don't blame my mental health for it though. In fact, I think that the best part of life is being able to enjoy it, and that took a lot of effort for me to get there. You know what I'm saying?
We got a few more questions on boundaries. Another record I really enjoy. You say you got to set boundaries because everybody wants a piece of me, and now you a piece of me.
No. Everyone, I gotta start saying, everybody wants a part of me. Now I'm a piece of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's still a bar.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But dealing with the part of me that people hardly see, I gotta fall back and just get organized. That's just how I remember feeling that way specifically. Literally at that point in my life, and it just when I got that loop from Key Wayne, I just was pouring my soul out. I wasn't even thinking about it, And I think it's important for people to recognize when they're at that point in their life of having to step back and get organized, because when you do, you bring in obviously your best self to the situation. You're gonna be 10 times more productive, 10 times happier, 10 times, or however many times, you're just gonna be a way better, more efficient version of yourself as long as you sharp and your heart is in it. And that's something that I didn't know if my heart was always in music, but I think I was overthinking it. It's not that it wasn't always in music, it just was, I don't think I was all the way aligned with my heart at certain times in my life. I was too much in my head. I was overthinking things, or thinking things analytically through, when sometimes, to me, thinking is the lowest version of feeling something. Really, life is an intuitive thing that you feel through, and overthinking it is definitely required in a lot of situations. But I feel like when you're being creative and when you're experiencing the bliss and joys of life, is to feel it more so than think about it.
Absolutely. On the radar freestyle.
Yeah.
Salute to my guy Gabe P. You chose to rap over Aaliyah if your girl only knew. Being a Detroit native, what does Aaliyah mean to you?
I mean, people don't know Aaliyah was from Detroit. She was like the queen of Detroit at that point, because there was nobody in that 90s R&B really that was like popping like Aaliyah, on songs with R. Kelly. And, my stepbrother went to school with Aaliyah, and I remember us picking him up from school and being like, yo, there go Aaliyah right there. Like, she was like still going to school when she first started at DSA. So it was just cool to see that, you know what I'm saying? And to see, and obviously it was such a tragedy when she died, but she definitely was like, to me, as a Detroit icon.
Absolutely.
And that's why I wanted to rap on her. I've been rapping on Jay Dilla beats too, and rapping on just like things that I feel like are important to keep like their
legacy alive.
Yeah, you know what I
mean? You referenced it earlier when you talked about the line, niggas looking for engagement like they got their knee bent. I got better things to do than find somebody to beef with. Everybody thought you was talking about Kendrick. My guy DJ Head said he spoke to you, and he said that you wasn't talking about Kendrick. It was directed at another Gemini. So I'm just assuming Kanye.
Yeah, but that was the point. I was saying, like, I got better things to do than to beef.
Like with Kanye?
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, but
Got you.
And I didn't know. I'm just, like, talking my shit, really. Well, that goes for anyone. I mean, it could apply to anybody, yeah. That could apply to Ye, Kendrick, whoever. Like, I got better things to do than find someone to beef with. I didn't say I want to find someone to beef with. So to me, it's like, who the fuck matters who the fuck I'm talking about? I said I don't want, that's not where I'm going.
I think the internet was gassing it up because they wanted to see.
They want to see that.
They want to see Kendrick go at somebody else. So if Kendrick and Sean is the next one, let's line it up.
Right.
That's what I think was happening.
I think people just were like, just looking for engagement. Like I said in the thing, people looking for engagement like they got their knee bent. It's like, I don't think people give a fuck about, especially these media outlets, they don't give a fuck about me. They don't give a fuck about Kendrick neither. They just looking for
that's it.
The clip. I'm not gonna say who I talk to, but one of my homies who does like hip hop journalism, he was like, bro, I made the most money I ever made from this Drake and Kendrick beef by just doing reaction videos and like talking about it than I have in 10 years of like doing hip hop, right?
Who was that, Rob Markman? My guy Rob. By the way, when you say hip hop journalist, there's only a couple of them out there. Yeah. So it's just like
well, he is a real hip hop journalist.
He's one of the best.
He's the best.
One of the best.
He is.
If not the best.
Yeah, Rob Markman is like that guy. So yeah, it was Rob Markman.
Yeah.
And he was just saying that like it's not about like people giving man, I really be feeling weird like speaking on behalf of other people. That's like, I don't know why that's just not natural to me, but it's something weird, like whatever. But yeah.
Who is the rappers that got matching tattoos? And why are you shooting subliminals at them?
Subliminal? Why is it a subliminal?
I didn't know who you was talking about. I saw mad people asking that question. Who's the rappers that got matching tattoos?
So many rappers got matching tattoos.
Why? They in the same crew or something?
You can pull up the internet and be like rappers with matching tattoos. There's been times where I've been in the studio with like rappers that hated each other, and I'd be like, y'all niggas got a matching tattoo,
like on
and
purpose.
then they'll be back cool. Then they'll be back cool.
Like on purpose matching tattoos. Like let's go down to the parlor together. And...
I don't know, bro. I'm not there, but what I'm saying is I see it, and I wasn't necessarily throwing a subliminal at people who do that. That's people got their own lives, they're their own individuals. I was talking about the industry in general. That's why I said, let me think. What did I say right there? I said, man, this industry is terrible. I can't even vouch. I seen grown men get matching tattoos for the clout. I had train wrecks and kick home wreckers out of my house. I seen 8-figure checks that once hit my account that showed me enough's a feeling, dog. It's not an amount. Because I've been up and still hungry like I'm down for the count. So to me, I feel like, yeah, I mean, I pointed that out. But that's not me judging. I'm just pointing out a fact.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's a fact that do people, Ye got matching tattoos with whoever. I don't know. And like, do Cudi and all these type of people got matching tattoos with other rappers and shit. I seen it. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's bad. I don't even think that's wrong. I'm just pointing that out as a fact that, you know, that's kind of like, is what it is.
You looking at somebody was telling you not to say something?
No.
Oh.
Hell no. Hell no.
I saw Joe Budden say something like this, and it's something that people feel like. It often feels like you don't stand up for how you actually feel about things and people. Like you have these moments where you might throw a jab, but then you don't commit to it.
Like what he mean by that?
I think he was talking about what your disses. Like he feel like, you know, you throw these sneak disses and then they ask who you talking about and you're like, oh, I'm not talking about nobody. And like just for me.
Sneak disses though?
Subliminals. I would call them subliminals.
Okay.
And it's just like for me, it's like if you want to be.
How many rappers be saying shit like, nigga stole my flow, da 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 da?
Yeah.
How many you know be saying shit like that? Or like whatever?
Everybody, all of them.
Yeah, all right?
Yeah.
So why the fuck is it such a thing? Do I gotta say somebody's name every time I'm just talking my shit? Like, do I?
I think they want to see you just commit one time. Like if you want to be in these elite rapper conversations.
When have I ever not committed? That's what I'm trying to figure out. When have I ever not committed? You saw this nigga Kendrick send that text and it said you saw the text.
Yeah.
I don't even want to paraphrase it.
Yeah.
So when have I not stood up? Like when? Like anytime I got on a song, like I did it like with whoever. Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, who? Eminem, Jay-Z, like Ye, like I'm trying to figure out like what context do you mean? Like on Control?
I don't know if it was Control. I just think it just in general.
I think it was that leaked Kendrick verse that people are like, yo, why didn't you say anything when he said you're finally famous for who you dating, whoever boy or whatever he said.
But now they know why.
Your confidence up. But I just don't give a fuck because it's like I talked to the nigga about it.
Yeah.
I'm not a clout chasing ass nigga and I must be solid. If it was a real issue, if he would have texted and been like, yeah, nigga, no, that's what it is, then I would have been like, all right, for sure, then that's what it is. And I would have had to come with my bars. But that's not the case. So if that's not the case, then how am I doing anything but being solid?
I think after people see this conversation, they'll understand the context of why you have never said anything directly. And they'll understand that maybe a lot of these subliminals that they think are for one person aren't necessarily for that person.
Right. But I'm also not ducking shit. I'm not trying to say that they not for anyone. Anyone could get it, bro. Like, that's a fact. Anyone can get it. And I'm not sitting here trying to talk tough. I'm just saying, like, I'm never, like, I don't know where this fucking narrative. I think it's the lack of me not expressing or clearing or controlling my narrative. Yeah. And that's on me. Of, like, yeah, like, oh, yeah, he said this or that, but I've always just been solid enough to come to the understanding that whatever I have between that person, that's what it is.
Right.
Instead of like having to clarify with everyone. But the fact that you brought it up and we sitting down, like I'm definitely down to talk about it. You know what I mean? Whatever.
So basically, if somebody really had an issue, you'd be at their front door with it. Nobody's ever really truly had an issue.
No, only if I thought it was worth it.
Okay.
Only if I thought like, you know, If you
Are there a list of MCs the same way you wrote down a list of labels you wanted to sign to? Are there a list of MCs you would be like, okay, I got something for this person, because these three are worth it?
Nah, because I don't think like that. But I mean, there's nothing that's off limits. But you kind of also have to, like, I can't just, like, take someone, like, a new artist or, like, as serious as, like, one of my peers that I came up with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you at least have to sell 100 million records.
So the big
At
three,
least.
anybody in the so-called big three can get it.
Yeah, of course they can get it, bro. But it's like, that's not the point of it. That's not like, yeah, they can get it. Just like, if you asked any of them, they would be like, yeah, he could get it if he, you know what I'm saying? If that's what it was, yeah. I'm not about to be like, no.
Is there still a big three after what we just saw this year? Because Kendrick said it. There's no big three. It's just Big Me. Has hip hop
I don't know about
been changed, restructured, so to speak?
Big Three or Big Me. I don't know, man. Like, to me, I never really thought it was a big three. I kind of feel like that was like a journalistic thing that got made up. I don't know who made that up. Joe, was it Elliot or I don't know, someone.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think
It's always been like that though for years.
I think that music is more expansive than it's ever been. So it's like it's so many people that can have a great fan base that it's impossible for it to just be a big three, because you look at all of these, like, you got people like even A Boogie, who's like, he has his own lane and he's doing arenas and all sorts of shit. And then you got people like Eminem, who, when I was talking to Paul Rosenberg, he's literally the most popular he's ever been, like, statistically. So it's like, is Eminem in the big three? Like,
Actually, Jay-Z made up the big three now that I think about it.
Oh,
When
Jay-Z?
he said, who's the best MCs, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas?
Oh, okay.
So it's always been like that for
okay.
different eras.
Oh.
It's always got to be like three. But to your point, it's never been just three. Because Pac could have easily have been in, at that time, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, you had to put Pac in there.
Well, because Pac was a bigger artist,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. I would
I
think.
don't know, man. I kind of think all of that shit doesn't matter personally, and not just because people be like, oh, he's not in it, he thinks it doesn't matter. I just think that none of that's important. I think you just put out your best music. Is Tyler the Creator in a situation of the big three? A big three? Is it like different sections of big threes? I don't know. But my point being is that I think I just want to focus on the music and not worry about my place in if I'm on a list or not. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's when you start being too analytical with it and just do your shit, do your art, express yourself. You know what I mean? So to me, it's not really a focus, but
I got 3 more questions. You got a book coming out.
yeah.
Titled Go Higher, 5 Practices for Purpose, Success, and Inner Peace. What made you want to write a self-help book as opposed to a memoir?
Oh, look, here, I have a copy of the book for you. Thank you.
Hey.
I like how you took your shoes off before you walked in this bitch, too. So this is like a,
I need that, by the way.
Yeah, advanced reader's edition. So there might be like a typo or two, because I read the book. I mean, I wrote the book, obviously, but I read it through like 3 or 4 times. And even on this one, I'm like, yo, y'all, it's like a typo. What page is that? Anyway, you'll see. But this isn't the final version. Like, it's been swept through, but this is basically but I wanted to give it to you.
Please,
it's actually
man.
my last.
I need this.
Last reader's edition copy. And what made me want to write a book was, so I did an interview with Jay Shetty, and at the end of it, he was like, you got to write a book, bro. He was like, I'm telling you, I've never said that to anyone after an interview, but he was like, there's so many people that come from where you come from that didn't have those guides and angels like your mom and these people that taught you to manifest, that taught you to live, you know, how to figure out how to have faith, how to have a foundation of consciousness to get from point A to point B, point C, point D. Like, he was like, you got to like map that out for people that come from where you come from and that look like you, that didn't have that, right? So when he said that, I always wanted to do it. And I always thought it was the thing I was going to do later in my life, you know, like 20 years down the line, you know. But I realized that, you know, time is relative. Like, you got to get it out, you know, if you have the message. So I sat down, started it, took a couple years, you know what I'm saying? But I do feel like it's a what's the right word? It's a book that you could keep returning to, like some of my favorites, like the Four Agreements,
Classic.
Seven Spiritual Laws, all of these things that I've read and kind of like gathered all these gems and applied what I learned from. I incorporate in the book, and I talk about how I incorporate it. I talk about a lot of parts in my career and a lot of things that I've seen, and just like other experiences too. So it's really helpful, I think, and I think that is gonna improve anyone who reads it. You know, I think there's something to take away.
See, I feel like that's the next level of hip hop. Like when I look at books like this, when I look at albums like Mr. Morale and The Big Stepper, when I look at Jay-Z 444, when I hear the things that you're doing on your album to break the cycle and boundaries, that's what the next 50 years of hip hop looks like to me.
Yeah.
Like I heard Will Smith say one time, you know, damn, 50 years is a long childhood.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So imagine what the adulthood of hip hop is gonna look like.
Yeah, and it's like that, just that mindset, right? Of like progression, ownership, balance.
Conversations about healing.
Conversations about healing. You know, you talk to me about the stuff that you've experienced with your dad. You know what I'm saying? I talked before the interview about stuff I experienced with my dad, and it's just like they lived a completely different life than us. And I know you got 4 kids, I got 1 kid, and yeah, I wonder what the progression of the next generation is going to be, as far as just like, first of all, this is for my son's generation especially. It's like, I wonder like what it's like growing up with these like iPhones and iPads and all this shit in your face, because I feel like my generation, our generation per se, it was like the last one that like didn't have that growing up, but we saw it all come about, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know how that's gonna affect him for better or worse, and I don't know how fast the technology is gonna keep progressing. So, but my point being is that going back to our fathers, you know, my dad from Monroe, Louisiana, grew up in probably one of the most racist, setback places back then when he grew up, to where you get your ass beat if you're on the wrong side of the train tracks. And he grew up in an abusive household, and he had a stuttering problem. And I really think that was tied to that. And he ended up working through speech therapy and getting rid of his stutter, which I really admire him for. I think a lot of people can't do that. But I think that the trauma that he has had in his life has been something that I've had to heal in my life. These things get passed down, just like how, like the way I wink, you know, my kid or, you know, my son, my daughter wink like that, or like, his smile, or, you know, all these traits that we pass on. I have a mark like that, or all these things, right? It's like you pass on the trauma too. You pass on the work you haven't done on
Absolutely.
yourself. So I think that that's like the fact that we are being more conscious of that. That's the importance of working on yourself. So that's something I do talk about in my book too, but that's the importance. Not just, and for the people who have kids, it's like, I don't have to work on myself. No, it's like, when you see how interconnected the whole planet is, how we all connected.
That's right.
Even when you on the freeway, like when we leave here and we go on the freeway, we're gonna see like everyone working and like being in synchronization. And that's one of the most basic levels of realizing that we're all really connected and aligned in a sense. So when you do work on yourself, it's a chain reaction that spreads way more than you could, you know, to me at least, that you could imagine. And that's what I believe, for real.
How has the work and finally recognizing your own value influenced the way you currently navigate your career versus how you did in the past?
It kind of just is a constant check-in with myself, and I kind of just have to like reaffirm and like have to like say what I'm comfortable with, what I'm not comfortable with, what I want to do, what I don't want to do, and really just be clear about the artist you want to be or what you want to put out there. And I don't know if that means like, I know that I'm the most successful I've ever been, and when I say successful, it's like the most happy I've ever been when it comes to like being an artist. And
That's what success is, though.
that's what success is.
It's happiness.
Yeah, and I do be stressed out. Like I said when we started, I do be feeling overwhelmed because I do try and do all I can, but you know, that is what it is. But I do feel like you know, the career, I do put in perspective my career and like what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not, as opposed to like just doing everything like I used to.
My last question for people that's watching, listening. How do you know when you've gotten to a point of clarity?
How do you know you got into a point of clarity? Is man, that's a great feeling. It's a feeling of inspiration, and it's a feeling of, I don't know, to me, I feel like I feel unstoppable. I feel like anything that's on my heart is possible. And I don't always feel like that. Clarity isn't something that is a constant thing. It's something that's why when I made those graphs for the album, Better Me Than You, it's like, it's a constant journey that goes from pressure to clarity to focus to happiness, because you know, you get the pressure, or I'm sorry, pressure, focus, clarity, happiness. You get the pressure, and you get that pressure on you, then you focus, and then you're able to find some clarity, and then you find that happiness, you know? So to me, when I'm in a state of clarity, I feel all is possible. I feel all is welcomed, and I feel that it's like endless possibilities, a field of infinite opportunities. You know what I mean? And that's an exciting feeling when I'm thinking. In fact, you asking that has kind of like given me that feeling now. I've been like, I locked onto that vibrationally just now, and it's like an awesome feeling. So I appreciate you asking that question.
Thank you for your time, my brother. Better Me Than You. It's out, what, August?
Well, I just pushed the motherfucking date back.
You pushed it back? Oh, my
It was
God.
supposed to be August 9th, but I'm going to do later on in August. It's just, the only reason I pushed it back is because I'm like, DJ Premier hit me like, yo, these scratches on this song aren't loud enough and all, you know, stuff like that. So where I'm like, look, just get the shit right all the way.
Word.
You know, I'm not about to be trying to replay stuff when it's out and stuff. Just, even if it's just a couple weeks, like, just get it all the way locked in. Mixes right, masters right. Mixed by Ali. Me and Ali going back and forth on some mixes, not all the way. The masters not. So, you know, it's probably going to be a couple weeks after, but it's all good.
My brother, thank you.
No, thank you.
Yes,
Great
sir.
conversation.
Appreciate you, King.
Yeah.